Hello, welcome to another edition of Inspire and Get Inspired. How many of you have a bucket list and how many actually work towards accomplishing things from your bucket list? I have one such friend who always has interesting things in her bucket list, and her name is Varsha. So recently she took a trip to Machu Picchu, and the thing that inspired me about this whole thing is, it wasn't an easy trip. It required a lot of preparation, and in the end, it was a very fruitful journey. So let's go ahead, look at Machu Picchu through Varsha's eyes. So hope you guys enjoy this segment.
It was sometime in May of 2019 when a friend of mine called up and said, "Hey, are you still up for our adventure trip that we have been thinking of, Machu Picchu?" So, after a very careful planning of what we were going to do, what trail we wanted to hike, and how many days the trip was going to be, we settled with Laris trek through beautiful mountain lodges. It was total of 8 days trip with 5 days of trekking, hiking, 1 day for getting accustomed to the altitude of Cusco, and 2 travel days. So I have some questions here. The first one, how did Machu Picchu get in your bucket list? I've been running half marathons for a few years now. So I always thought of going to a big beautiful hike like Everest Base Camp, Kilimanjaro, and Machu Picchu. I would say the almost mystical lost city of the Incas is a must for any traveler's bucket list. The next question I have is, what were the triggers that happened for you to make this trip? Well, there was no trigger as such. I've always wanted to hike some mountains. I have done local Arizona hikes like Camelback Mountain, Superstitious Mountain a few times. I also went to Havasupai hike, which is in northern Arizona. So your experience, what you learn, any breathtaking moments, your most fond memory of the trip? My most fond memory of the trip has to be my hike to Huayna Picchu, which means Young Peak. It is the large mountain that sits directly behind Machu Picchu. So once you hike Machu Picchu, you get to the top and then you hike next mountain, which is Huayna Picchu. For many trekkers, climbing Huayna Picchu is one of the highlights of a visit to Machu Picchu. It was about 45-50 minutes hike one way uphill, steep mountain. For some sections of the mountain, such as the Stairs of Death or the Temple of the Moon, we literally had to crawl and climb on all four. The views from the top of Huayna Picchu were extraordinary and breathtaking. Of course, the views are equally amazing from Machu Picchu as well. The next question I have is challenges you faced before or during the trip that you overcame. Well, the biggest challenge was getting accustomed to the altitude. It is located at about 8,000 feet above sea level. Hiking at such high altitudes can pose breathing problems. So taking one step at a time was challenging enough. So definitely altitude sickness was a problem for me. The coca tea, which is the local tea in the region, helped a lot. Any realizations you had about life? This Machu Picchu trip changed me in ways I will always be thankful for. It is vibrant, colorful people, beautiful ruins, and delicious vegetarian and Peruvian food made me fall in love with the city. Hiking here is one of the most exciting and fulfilling journey of your life. Next question, any tips for people wanting to make this trip? Yes, of course. The first one is do your research. If possible, book your trip through travel agency. We booked through a company called Southern Crossing. So if it works, always book a trip through the travel agency. Prepare yourself by hiking mountains which are at higher altitude. Get proper hiking gear, hydrate well, drink a lot of water, and most importantly, have fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Varsha, for sharing such a beautiful experience with me and allowing me to kind of represent it in my channel. I am sure a lot of people will be inspired to take similar trips and kind of fulfill what's on their bucket list. So, and definitely I think Machu Picchu would be in most people's list to go. I mean, just looking at everything, it's so beautiful, and the fact that you planned for it, you prepared for it, I would say hats off to you. So thank you for sharing your story with us. And thank you, viewers, for watching. And if you like my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.